Welcome all to Quantitative Methods Learning Module 5, the single EOCQ question. Obviously going to be a short video, but here is that question just in case you struggled with it or struggled how to interpret a joint probability function. We are asked quite simply to calculate the covariance of returns. So this is how we do it. Going across from top left to bottom right here, 0.25, 0.5 and 0.25 are your probabilities. Your probabilities of each scenario. To check you're interpreting this correctly, when you look at these three, they should add together 0.25, 0.5 and 0.25 to give you 1. This is every possible outcome. Down the side and across the top are your returns to the foreign index and the domestic index given each of these scenarios. Step 1, we're going to calculate the average return for the foreign index given these three scenarios. Well, we have a 25% chance of getting 25%. So we'll start with 0.25 times 25%. We have a 50% chance of getting 15%, so 0.5 times 15%. And we have a 0.25, a 25% chance of getting 10%. So 0.25 times 10%. Again, these were the probabilities, so they added up to 1. Multiply those three out and add together the answers. You will get 16.25. That is the average return for the foreign index. Do exactly the same for the domestic. To get our average domestic, we have a 25% chance of getting 30%, so 0.25 times 30%. A 50% chance of getting 25%, so 0.5 times 25%. And a 25% chance, so 0.25, of getting 15%. Calculate those three, add them together, you will get 23.75%. That is our average domestic return. Now we're in a position to calculate our covariance. What we need for each of the three scenarios is the difference between the return on the foreign index and its mean, multiplied by the difference between the domestic index and its mean, multiplied by the probability of that scenario. So let's take this first one. There is a 0.25 chance that we end up with a 25% return on the foreign index, as opposed to its average of 16.25%. And at the same time, we would get a 30% return on the domestic, as opposed to its average of 23.75%. Plus, the second scenario, 0.5 times, well, 15% from the foreign, its mean was 16.25. And in this scenario, we get 25% from domestic, its average is 23.75. And finally, 0.25. There we get 10% from the foreign, minus its mean of 16.25, and we get 15 from the domestic, minus its mean of 23.75%. We calculate each of those just so you can see some workings. That first one is 13.67. Second one is negative 0.78. Third one is also 13.67. So add these together. We get 26.56. Answer is B. Common question on calculations like this. Why are we not taking that and now using n-1? Well, it isn't a sample covariance. Look what we've got. We have the returns on the foreign index and the returns on the domestic index in every possible outcome of the world. They add up to 1. We therefore have the population. Why then, you might say, don't we divide by n? Because instead we've multiplied by the probabilities of each outcome. We don't need to divide by the number of observations when we've already multiplied by the probability of the scenario. Hence, it is just 26.56. It is B.